thanks everyone for coming tonight to the TVJ celebration. Yeah, he's pumped. So is Anna. So is BJ. Right? Are you pumped too? Yes. All right, so we're gonna get started. I'm gonna ask. Let me see if this is better. Can we turn the volume up a little bit on the microphone? Thank you. We're going to get this party started a little bit. I'm going to ask the team to come up. So let's get Cliff and Dave and Ryan and DJ up here. And let's grab a couple chairs. We're going to have a little chit chat. You guys are sitting right up here. Sit right up here. Where are you going?
Direct sunlight right there.
Right off there. That's brutal. You guys want to move down? I'll move down this way a little bit. Sure, you're not in the sun? Don't be different.
Better for me. We're good enough. I got it right. All right.
Well, first of all, thank you guys for coming tonight. We're here to celebrate this incredible journey that these athletes have taken over the last, really, an entire year almost. For some of these guys, at least for Cliff, around training and getting ready for this event. We're live on Facebook, so everyone say hi to the people on Facebook. Hello! You guys are here because you are as much a part of the team as these guys are, as angels. Your family and friends, and whether you were there on race day, supporting, helping, pushing up the hills, or whether you were, posting on Facebook or sending out messages or making a donation, all that stuff is vital and important to these guys having that successful event and completing Ironman Wisconsin. So thank you all for being here today. I also want to just continue the thanks, and of course to thank BJ and his parents, Rob and Tammy, for all of your support over the last weeks. And of course, our angels, Dave, Cliff, and Brian, as well as all of their families. So let's give them a round of applause. And then we have a lot of folks that were there on race day helping out, and I know some of them were the family members that are here, but we also have two of our crew members who are in the Northeast region. They're somewhere back there. I don't know, Wolverine? Is there a guy that looks like a Wolverine back there somewhere? No? All right. Well, we got Matt and Sean that were there. Thank you guys so much for all of your help on race day. It's amazing the energy that it takes to really make an Ironman event possible. There's a lot of stories. Ian's done one, so he knows. But there's a lot of great stories that we're going to share today. Some of them are pretty crazy, and some that you're going to scratch your head and go, wow. But I'm always amazed. BJ and Autumn, we had two teams this year, were the 11th and 12th Ironman teams that we've had since 2013. Yeah. And I'm extremely proud of that, because when we said we wanted to break into the Ironman arena in 2013, and it was really Mary going, when are we going to do this thing? Mary at the time was one of less than 10 athletes, 10 guided athletes to participate and complete an Ironman event anywhere in the world. Less than 10. And since then we have 12, so we've more than doubled that number since 2013. And we're also the only My Team Triumph chapter to ever have an Ironman team successfully complete the event. So there's a lot to be proud of for these guys. So, a lot of times people ask me, before we get into the stories, I just want to briefly talk about why Ironman. Sometimes people ask me, why are we doing Ironman? You know, because when we think of some of the big races, especially ones that we do here in Green Bay, like the Melon Run, where we have 40+ teams in these races, we only have 1, 2, or 3 teams that do Ironman on an annual basis. And there's a number of reasons why that is. So sometimes people say, well, why are we even putting the time and energy and finances into doing events if we can only offer 1 or 2 or 3 opportunities? And really, the answer is because what our mission is about is not really about racing. It's not about crossing finish lines. That's a metric that we measure, how many teams we get. That's important stuff to us. But it's really about helping people have a different perspective. And when we go to events, when we go to races, people are expecting to see a certain thing. Spectators, runners, family, friends. And, you know, expecting to see athletes out there, even in an Ironman event, as crazy as that is, are expecting a certain thing. And when they see our captains and angels going up the big hills on the bike course, or out on Lake Monona with the thousands of other swimmers, or running down State Street with the race chair, it causes people to stop in a way that is different than just a 5K or a 10K race. It causes people to ask really powerful questions and causes them to reflect upon things that are important in their lives, but also about how they think about people with disabilities in their community. So that's one of the big reasons why we do Ironman, is it helps shape a broad perspective. And it's amazing what just 1, 2, or 3 teams can do for the literally tens of thousands of people that see these athletes on race day. It is one of my favorite weekends. If you've not had a chance to be in Madison, I invite you guys to come down next year. You will be tired, you will be wiped out, you will cry, you will be hungry. It is an emotional day, but it's one that you will take with you forever. Never forget. Right?
Not in good shape. She's bringing it back in.
She's bringing it back in. We just saw a bike coming in here.
That's not good.
So that's a big reason why we do Ironman. So we're going to get into some stories here. This is very loosely formatted. These guys have no idea what I'm going to ask them, but we're just going to share some. We're just going to have a conversation here and share some stories. We're going to start back with you know, the training of Ironman, what that was like, and of course share a lot of stories about race day. I invite you guys to ask questions as well, and you know, just kind of pick these guys' brains about what they were feeling and thinking. It was an amazing day. I mean, I would just say that. I mean, if there's one thing that I can always take and expect from an Ironman event, is that the unexpected will happen. And something always happens in an Ironman event. And really, that's very central to what we're trying to do, because it's important to have a resilient mindset, be ready to adapt to changes, and have a positive attitude, and that's what this team did. So let's pass this down to Cliff here. If you guys could, we're going to start with Cliff. Is that on? It should be. Is this thing on? It's on. All right. So I'm going to start with you, Cliff, because you were the first person to, well, honestly, you were the only person to apply to be on this team. The rest of the guys were kind of wrangled in to be on part of the team. So talk a little bit, Cliff, back at the end of last year, kind of what was going through your mind. Why were you motivated to want to be a part of the Ironman Wisconsin team?
Well, I think last year, at the end of the My Team Trial season, I didn't really bike a whole lot at that point. I had done a lot of triathlons and sprint triathlons in years past, but nothing that really pushed me beyond any of my limits or what I thought were my limits. And so it was something that I think I just wanted to try and tackle, and it wasn't something that I was going to physically be able to do, not just for myself, but for somebody else at the time.
Right. How about you guys? Dave's done Ironman before, so has Brian. Dave, we got I know I sent you a message. it started with something like, hey, I got a crazy idea. And before I could even finish it, I felt like you said yes. What made you say, yeah, I want to be part of this team?
Well, let's see, you contacted me 2 days after the Titletown bike tour, which I decided to go with that bike, which was pretty awesome to chat. And 2 days later, you're like, yeah, it was a great ride. What are you doing in 8 weeks? So, no, being able to be on the longer races with the captains and just being a part of that, knowing what the whole Ironman experience was for me, myself, and being able to help BJ experience that is what really said, yeah, I should do this, you know? I'm like, I didn't know how I was going to do it or how I was going to train to do that distance, to be able to cross-train a little bit with the bike and be able to run and say, we're going to do this in 8 weeks. You know, that's not typical. I was training for everything shorter distance this year for a triathlon and some other different bike events. So it was a little bit of a surprise. He said, hey, do you want to run? Like, you mean in 8 weeks? You mean this year?
Yeah, this year.
But yeah, I was definitely driven to do that, and the Washington Ultra that we did definitely said, yeah, this was a good decision. It was an easy 18 miles that day, and carried on from there.
Yeah. Awesome. And one of the things that I love about these people is that they were all in, the whole time. Even though some of the, for Dave and for Brian is shorter time frame than Cliff was training for it, but they were like, yeah, definitely all in. I'm sure Tammy and Rob can attest to that they really were so supportive of doing whatever they could to help BJ complete the event. So BJ, you're up next, buddy. I know I remember I talked to Tammy initially. We were at a training run, and I said to her, hey, what do you think about this? And she said you guys have been thinking about this in the past. Is that right?
Yes.
So why Ironman, dude? Why? Is it mainly just because you always want to beat Ian and stuff?
Of course I do. Freaking suck.
We're gonna get over that. Yeah. So what was it like getting ready for Ironman for you, BJ?
Maybe it's just like out a day after I'm done with ski everything. It was kind of hard at first, but as the process was going, I felt kind of comfortable with it.
So it was something that you felt more comfortable
Yes.
as you guys were getting ready to train for, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Awesome. So Brian here was a swimmer, and we knew we had Cliff as the biker, and we thought to ourselves, who's a strong runner? And then we thought to ourselves, who is someone that could swim in under an hour? And then we thought about and then we reached out to a few people and said, who are the strongest, craziest swimmers that you know? And a lot of times people came back with Brian. And I remember I reached out to Brian, and Brian was like, oh, I'm kind of interested. But we got a little thing happening here in a few weeks, and there it is. And I remember he said, yeah, it's like early September. And so I thought, oh, well, have fun with that. Thanks for your interest, and maybe another time. And then I think I was talking with Dave, and he's like, Brian is still interested. And I was like, what? Like, seriously? Like, if I tried to do that, my wife would kill me. Like, no way. You were doing Ironman like 2 weeks after baby's born. So, Brian, you're alive. You've not been killed.
Right.
by Jamie.
Right.
Yeah. So, and obviously we got a healthy baby here. So, talk a little bit about why you wanted to do the race with BJ and how that training was going for you guys.
Well, I had done the Ironman in 2016, and then kind of went into a cave and just sat there and didn't exercise for 2 years. So it was a great opportunity for me personally to, get back on the horse and also help someone accomplish a goal, which made me feel really good when I did it, and just give someone that opportunity to feel good about accomplishing a big task. It was a great opportunity, and once I met BJ and the rest of the guys, I could tell that it was going to be a great team, and that we were going to do it, and that everyone would have a great time. And so we just took the opportunity.
Yeah, you were getting together on a weekly basis, right? Training with the boat and with BJ, right?
Yeah. Once we got our hands on the boat, probably once or twice a week, Tuesdays and Fridays, I think. I don't remember. We switched it up a little bit, but at least once a week, and we tried twice. We'd go to the quarry, get the boat pumped up, do a few loops. BJ's parents were great, and BJ was great in trying to schedule times that worked for everyone, and committing to training, because it was important for BJ to be comfortable on the boat and for me to be comfortable pulling him on the boat. And that time we put in service well come race day. And,
Ian was there too.
Yeah. Yeah, he was there.
One of the things I really, let's talk a little bit about the team dynamic that we have going on. So I'm part of a team Facebook group chat that's going on, and I just get a kick out of some of the things that are said in this group. We won't say everything that's said in this group, but you guys, I think it's pretty safe to say that you guys have a pretty fun relationship between, with you guys and BJ. Is that right, Cliff or Dave? Is that right?
We only need to say one word and we're good to go.
What's that?
What's the one word, BJ? Squishy?
Oh yeah, squishy.
Squishy. All right, what's the squishy story? We gotta tell that.
It's yours,
Dave.
It's yours. So, about 3 miles in the run, we crossed 7-Eleven. and I asked DJ if he wanted a squishy. Do raspberry squishies or cherry squishies? And let me tell you, for the next 23 miles, that's all we heard about. It was comical, and it was fun. And when you're out there on the course, you're seeing a lot of things. You're seeing anywhere from the spectators cheering you on to other athletes struggling, and it's a long day for all of us, and it still makes me laugh like crazy right now. So that was our laughter for those 26 miles out there.
And you guys had a unique team name, and only 2 of you are still have the remnants of the evidence of the team name. But Cliff, what was the team name, and talk about where that came from?
So we were affectionately known as Team Stash. Iron Stash. Sorry, BJ. Iron Stash. I think when Dave and I first got connected, we were kind of thinking up some crazy, wild ideas just to make it, more fun and make the time more enjoyable. And we knew BJ can grow a beard in a day, apparently. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. And so we just thought, why not go with Stashes? And so Dave and I decided we were doing it. I don't even think we asked Brian. We just kind of told him, we're going with it. Make it work.
Yeah.
He tried.
I tried my best.
Obviously, it's gone now. Baby face.
Oh no, it's still there.
Oh, it's okay.
He's still trying.
Yeah, that's 3 weeks right there, right? Let's talk a little bit more about training Cliff, because you put in, because you signed up earlier, you put in the most time to do this. I remember you talking to me a little bit about your past bike experience, and you've not put in the kind of bike time that you did while you were training for this, did you?
No, prior to this summer, I would be willing to bet the longest ride I ever took was 25 miles. Maybe an hour and a half at most.
Yeah.
And they changed a little bit throughout
It
the
did
summer.
change.
Quite a bit. I mean, when you're talking trying to get 8 hours, 9 hours on a bike, it's a lot of training. It's a lot of seat time and trying to get your rear end comfortable a little bit.
Yes, it is. While also trying to balance everything else going on in life, right?
Right.
Family and work. And all that
Family
stuff.
and work and everything else that comes with it. And, it's challenges that kind of make us who we are and allow us to kind of progress forward and push our limits.
Yeah. And I had the opportunity to bike some early mornings with Cliff, doing some Zwift, and as well as a few outdoor rides, and it was awesome to see your progression and your strength grow over those months and weeks. It was awesome. But BJ also was involved in a lot of the long training as well. BJ did some long rides. We talked about the Washington Island Ultra. I did a few others. BJ, was it tough? Was it tough going through the training? And what did you have to learn? Did you have to learn differently about like how you eat and various things to be ready for the race?
Well, my mom told me that I'm in training now, so sorry.
No soda. So you cut out soda. That was a big thing. I remember you said that, Tammy. What happened after you cut out soda?
Oh, God.
Better or worse?
Say this than I felt.
He doesn't know how he felt. No. A lot of energy.
No.
Less energy?
Yes.
Tammy's shaking her head. Tammy, how did BJ feel?
He was talking more, he was more energetic, he was more willing to do everything.
Instead of sleeping in the afternoon in the chair, he was singing on those runs.
He was singing. Judging by Santa's response forward, he had a little bit more energy.
You knew BJ was up in the afternoon because he kept trying to FaceTime call all of us.
Yeah?
Like 2 days a week. Right?
So BJ...
Setting up morning conference calls.
But guys.
Tammy, Rob, what did you guys see in the change in BJ over the course of the training?
He was actually very dedicated. He told us when there was a training run or race, and then as he became more comfortable, as all of them will tell you, he would fall asleep. And that's how you know BJ's comfortable. He's in the boat for an hour and he was sleeping a half hour. You get on the bike, within an hour of getting in the bike, he was up, taking a nap. And for BJ, that means he's comfortable because he doesn't sleep if he's not comfortable.
Yeah.
And he slept everywhere.
Yeah. So he had a lot more energy, he was dedicated, probably bragging to Ian a few times, and developed a strong comfort. And I think you guys would agree too that I was really amazed how quickly this team really bonded and developed a trust for one another. Because if you go out for an 8-9 mile bike ride, I imagine you guys have to have a significant amount of trust in Cliff or Brian or Dave, but also these guys have to trust each other as well. So that was really neat to see that happen. So let's talk about race day. As I mentioned, always interesting. Let's start with the swim. So Brian, talk a little bit about how that swim leg went for you.
Well, overall it went well. It did start with a bit of a hiccup. There's a little confusion about when we were supposed to get in the water and when we were supposed to start, because there were pro women Ironman racers who went off first, and we were supposed to go off after them. Now, how far off after them, we weren't quite sure. So the pro women lined up, they got to the starting line, and we were told to get in the water rather quickly, and so we BJ was already in the boat. We got launched from the flooded swim start, made our way to behind the pro women, and the pro women took off. And we were told to then go up to the starting line. So both of my team, Triumph teams, and a couple of other teams, including some blind and guided swimmers, got up to the starting line and we waited, assuming we were told when to go. And the pro women got further and further away, and we waited. And then all of a sudden, someone in a raft said, "Rafts go, rafts go, rafts go." So off we went with no warning, already behind on the clock. So we kind of wasted 2 minutes because I think we were supposed to go with the pro women and we waited until after. So we kind of had we kind of gave everyone else a head start, but we were able to still have a good swim. We were able to keep clean water around the first couple turns, didn't run into anyone. On the long backstretch, people started to catch us, but we just gave other athletes the space they needed, and I only ran into one other athlete, got tangled up in the rope with me and BJ. I don't know if anyone grabbed onto the back of the boat. BJ would know that. Did anyone ever grab on or anything?
No.
Thank goodness. So I wasn't pulling the extra weight there. So it was pretty smooth. We made the final turn towards the shore. I could see my team Triumph helpers at the swim exit, and I swam towards them. They took care of BJ, I took care of myself, got loaded up in a chair, and off we went towards the transition. Yep.
And you went up the helix. And for those of you who don't know, the helix is the ramp that goes into the parking structure, the garage, at the Monona Terrace. And there's always a ton of spectators that are at that. What was that like, pushing BJ up the helix?
Right, so that's a spiral ramp up the parking lot, and it's a pretty cool experience because you're climbing 2 or 3 floors with people on both sides of you cheering there, yelling for you and for BJ and just getting you pumped up. And you still have the adrenaline from the swim, and now you have all these. You're all by yourself for that hour and 15 minutes, and all of a sudden you got all these people in your ear screaming, telling, saying go BJ, and just cheering for my team Triumph and all the other athletes as well. And so that was just really exciting and just a great kind of celebration to the end of the swim. It was awesome.
Yeah, it's definitely very powerful and a great swim. And then when you got to the top, Rob had a little surprise on race day, right? Didn't you, Rob? Because I know Matt talked to Rob and said, "Hey, Rob, you want to push BJ through transition?" Right? Yep. And or probably like Matt, he'd probably like, "Rob, you're going to push BJ through transition." It's more like that, right? Rob, talk a little bit about that experience. What was that like, pushing him through there?
It was an awesome experience. I didn't realize how far transition was. I have not ran in close to 30 years. It was the longest 300 yards of my life. Pushing BJ after about 250 yards, I started to slow down going around races. And then I saw him and I went, "Oh crap, I got to wrap now. I can't slow down now," so I took off again. And then Dave turned around and took off because we forgot the timer chip on Brian. So I'm doing this all by myself. I didn't even have anybody to hand it off to. I got to the end and they're talking to me and I can't even talk because I'm breathing so hard.
Brian went all the way down. Steve went all the way down, got the chip from Brian, came back up, and still beat Rob.
Yep.
So where is
Did the
it?
distance twice,
Yes.
essentially. Yeah.
But we got BJ in the chariot, got hooked to the bike. I think we did transition in 9 minutes.
Nice.
So it worked out really well.
Yep.
A little surprising, but it worked out.
Yes. Okay. That must have been a cool experience, though, going through that and seeing everyone cheer for him, and just to see that energy. And so Matt was talking to me ahead of time. He's like, really would love to see Rob have that experience. So
The last 50 yards I could have done without.
Yeah. Who's this guy? Who invited this guy over here? Good to meet you, right? Okay, so we're off off the swim or onto the bike ride, the longest time of the 3 legs. And for this particular event, one of the more challenging. I mean, the legs all have their own unique challenge. But pulling a bike trailer is indeed one of the more challenging things. So Cliff being the biker, no pressure on Cliff's shoulders.
None whatsoever.
No pressure. Just to give you a little background, you have to finish each of the legs in a certain amount of time. There's a cutoff, right? And if you you have to finish the swim in 2 hours and 20 minutes. If you don't, then you're done. They stop you. You can't keep going. And then you have until 5:30 p.m. or 5:40 p.m. To finish the bike ride, which seems like a lot of time, being that you're starting to swim at 7 a.m., but it's a long 112 miles. Every one of our teams that's ever done Ironman Wisconsin has come within 15 minutes of the cutoff, or less. So that tells you how hard that is to make that cutoff. And I know when we were preparing for it, obviously Cliff was preparing himself physically. We talked to these guys and Dave about, hey Dave, bring your bike with you, get it ready, do a little biking yourself, so you're, in case you need to do a little, hand off and help out, you can do that. So we were out in the van and getting ready for the team. But Cliff, I know I talked to you a little bit about those first 10 to 15 miles, and you said that was a pretty emotional experience going through those first 10, 15 miles.
Yeah, the first 10, 15 miles out to Verona, coming out of Madison, were kind of surreal. It was kind of caught up in that, and is this really happening moment? My body felt good, my legs felt good, my mind felt right where it needed to be, and it was just that aha moment of this is happening, and we're going to go tackle this together with BJ.
An aha or a holy crap moment?
Probably a little both. Aha and oh crap, let's make sure we get this done.
Yeah. BJ, were you pretty excited to be out on the bike at that point? I know everyone back there is pretty excited. I mean, were you pretty excited to get out on the bike ride?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah. Were you hearing all the folks cheering for you and all the other athletes? How did that feel?
I couldn't hear it anymore, but the wind.
The wind, because you're going so fast, right? It was all the wind. You couldn't hear anyone. Yeah, you were just flying.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Awesome. So the bike course has a few hills on it, by the way, out in Madison. Madison is one of the hardest bike courses in all of Ironman events. So we had definitely a unique team approach. We had 2 support vehicles, well technically 3. So we had our van, which had a few people in it, and then we had was it Matt's van? The mini van? Matt's mini van. The Bro van, which Sean was in. And then the other team had their own vehicle. And really the goal of the support teams is to try as much as possible to help the teams get up the hills. And so there are a few major hills that specifically the team tries to get behind. But when possible, any of the other hills as well. And what that looks like is we get the vehicle up to the hills, we get the team out, we have like a relay almost from the bottom of the hill, 2, 3, 4, sometimes people, depending on the length, pushing up the hills. And that's a pretty cool experience because it's probably one of the few times, Cliff, that you're actually passing people, right? as you're on the bike course, right?
I don't remember if it was the first or the second move that we had to tell people to get out of the way because the pushing was so fast that we were almost running people over. Yeah, but it was pretty impressive the amount of support all throughout those different hills. Not only by the Northeast crew, but also by Chad and Autumn's crew from the Wausau region, just how they were staggered throughout the course as well.
Yep. And we had Dave in the van, and Dave was there as a backup. In case Cliff needed a little bit of a break. And Cliff was just dominating the day. I mean, Cliff never used Dave for that help. I mean, he did the whole thing, and Cliff came in earlier than any other bike. What time did you finish? What time of the day? Do you remember?
About 4:30.
4:30.
Maybe 4:20.
4:20.
Yeah.
4:20. So that's like an hour earlier than any other team that's ever finished. So that gives you a sense of the day that Cliff had out there. So awesome job, man. With some strong legs. And BJ, did you get pretty tired out there on the bike ride?
Yes.
Yeah? How did you get through? What got you through mentally and physically through that bike ride?
I felt I just tried to clean my back, my legs,
Felt some pain in your back and your legs?
and I kept on telling myself to push it through.
Push it through. You're coaching yourself, you're giving yourself some positive energy, right?
Yeah.
Good. Did you have to do that the whole time?
Yeah.
There were some tough moments out there.
Yeah.
I bet you had to exercise some mental strength that maybe you've never had to do before.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes.
Yep. But you did it. You made it, man.
Yeah, I did.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. So finished the bike course, did an amazing job. Like I said, we didn't utilize Dave for Team BJ, but we did utilize Dave for the other team. The other team was Autumn, and their athlete actually was not feeling well. He had to go to do some urgent care because he was suffering from some bee stings that he had earlier on in the week. And so their team had someone else that was biking with Autumn and wasn't fully prepared and got through about 20 or 30 miles. And I remember saying to Dave, Dave, how do you feel? You know, we got the other team, they're a little behind. How do you feel about jumping in and trying to reel back the clock for them a little bit? How'd you feel about that when we were talking about you jumping in on Team Autumn?
Well, at first it was a little in shock. I was prepared. I did do some biking in case flat tires, anything could happen out there as far as with our team. And when that came up with the other team, I was just like, oh man, well, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna bike 5 miles? Am I gonna bike 100? So I didn't really know how long that was gonna be, and I really wanted to be able to be there for BJ for the run. And so that was one question I had for Christian was, am I still going to be able to do the run with BJ? He said, absolutely. No matter what, we'll make sure that you are back for that. So Christian said, hang tight. We don't really know what's going on. 5 minutes later, he's like, all right, dude, we need you. I'm like, all right, I hung tight for 5 minutes, thanks. Everybody checked with me and said, are you ready? I said, yeah, let's do this, let's go. And I had so much adrenaline that I honestly probably was biking faster at that point than I was solo last year for a little while there, especially when I was biking by the other support team and letting them sprint, trying to chase me up the hills. We were game on for a while there, and I was trying to bring Autumn's spirits up as well because she didn't know what's going on. Nobody knew what was going on, especially with the other angel and whatnot. And next thing I know, we're at the top of the hill, exchanging back, we're flying all around. And I'm in the soccer mom band and the bro band. I'm in the bro band. Got to see help Cliff and BJ up around mile 100, and then it was over to the run course.
Go ahead and give it to Cliff, you had some family in town?
Yes,
And
that's
your
what
son,
you.
Dylan, right?
Yes, my oldest son Dylan was there.
Yeah, Dylan was in the van with us, and I just loved seeing how excited he was to help you. He got out of the van. He was pushing you guys up a couple of hills. Talk about what that was like for him and you seeing him help out in that race.
You know, the whole experience, having him there with me the whole weekend, was something that I could have never probably planned for. Just the opportunity for him to see how serious of an event it was, but how much work and dedication and truly teamwork it took to make something like that come together. You know, I think after talking with him afterwards, it was really the adversity that Team Autumn faced that showed him what having a little bit of trust and faith in a plan would do. Because I think from what Nicole and you have shared, he's quite worried about, well, where's Dad? We have all of Dad's drink and food, and how are we going to get it to him? And what are we going to do to make sure that's there? You know, and as soon as he was reassured that it would all be okay, I think he was probably all in on, all right, let's make sure we help another team finish as well as Dad and BJ get there, because he really knew what it was all about at that point.
And I loved seeing how excited he was, and you know, as well to help out with the other team. He was all in.
He loved pushing. I mean, I think he wanted to push up every hill he could. You know, if he could have, he would have.
Yep. And I know Nicole got a few pushes in as well, right?
And Nicole was definitely a little sore the next day or day after. Yes.
You know, basically for the crew, if you're out there on the bike ride, it's basically like just short sprints. You're just doing sprint workouts, essentially.
Take your 20, 30 yards and then pass them off, unless you were Jordan. Jordan's just crazy, though.
Yeah.
You know Jordan's crazy, so.
Yep, for sure.
Matt and Sean, you guys were following the team. You guys were following BJ and Dave. What's that? We're following everyone. We were all over the place. We're all over the place. What was your guys' take on the bike course?
Yeah, it was my first time crewing, so it was an awesome experience. It was a great experience. It was kind of tough to get thrown in. Now I was going where everyone was, the hardest part. But you know, being there, I think I accidentally slowed down on the one hill. I was racing down the hill to beat him, and he was racing up the hill. And we had a guy in my stature and my size turned around the middle while sprinting. So I kind of pulled back on the bike and you get a lot of we had some moments with Bob and Tammy as well, kind of talking about the course of, you know, what was all going on, how we were doing. We left Cliff in the dust for about 46 miles.
Yeah, that's probably one of the. There's three main parts of the race that stick out in my head, and this is one of them where everything was happening with Team Autumn, and it kind of, I think, turned the crew into like this reaction mode. The last people that I actually saw from our crew, our region, our family, were Nicole's parents and her siblings at about mile 45. Then it wasn't until about mile 70 that these two showed up next to me in the van. About mile 70, 3 hours later, and I was at a breaking point. I needed some sugar, pretty bad. I needed sugar real bad. And I yelled into Sean and Matt, like, what, I need sugar. Nicole has a bottle of Coke for me. I need it. Where is it? And they're like, we'll work on getting it. And not more than 3-4 minutes later, we round the corner, and Sean's got this V8 Fusion, a can of V8 Fusion hanging out the window here. It's Matt's. There was 2 swings left. It was like pretty much gone. But that's all they had. Matt and I met the other night. We were talking. They turned to this corner to help follow me. And what was next? What was off in the corner right behind us? A quick trip. A quick trip. But the support that these two guys and everybody provided out there, including the Wausau region, as you were just rolling through the hills. It wasn't that I didn't see anybody for the 45 miles. Because Team Autumn's people were out there. These guys came up, and I remember at one point looking at Sean and just saying, I don't know if I got anything left at me. He just basically yelled at me and said, no, just keep going, we're good. And as soon as we got to the top of that next hill, everybody was kind of there, and then we were able to refuel and just keep carrying on.
Sean was feeling fine. He had no problem with you going.
Well, yeah. I think he had a bush light.
I did. So we were following Team Autumn, and then we didn't know about the switch. So Dave got like a 5-minute warning of, hey, you're biking. We got like a negative 10-minute warning of Dave biking. So like 10 minutes into Dave's bike, we're gonna mess with Dave's bike doing Team Autumn. Oh, okay. So we are, if you all know the Ironman path and course, bike course, there's a dead spot for cell service, even in 2018 for about 20 miles of it, and that's where we were. So Christian was trying to get a hold of Matt and I, and we're in the dead zone. So then that's when we finally cut off the switch, but took a while.
Yep.
Matt drove, luckily. Luckily Matt was driving.
Matt was driving. Yep. So was that the main spot that you, up to that point, was there ever a time, Cliff, that you were like, I don't know if we're gonna make this?
I don't think there was ever a spot where I didn't think we weren't going to make it. It was at that, it was right before Timber Road or Timber Lane, the second hill, that Sean and Matt really caught up and pushed. They helped up the first hill as well in that second loop, and there was other spectators, just random people on the hills that were just like, can we help? Can we jump in and push? The Ironworks team out of the Madison area were great. But it was that second hill there where I just kind of felt like I needed something to kind of pick me up. But I knew that if we would just tackle that hill, there was a good stretch of a downhill coming up, and then if we'd be able to get past that, we'd be all right.
Yeah. And try to picture, guys, there's 3 major hills. They have another name on the course that I won't utter. But these are epic hills. They are not little baby hills. They are long, steep hills. And the spectators on the hills are kind of like, if you're watching Tour de France and you see all these crazy people and they're, crazy costumes, and half of them have a couple drinks or more. And it's just a party basically on a hill. I mean, that's what it's like. It's like that.
Yes, just like that.
Just like that.
Exactly.
But hundreds or thousands of people. And so it's pretty awesome when you're going to those hills, and they give you a lot of energy as you're going up, and they're obviously very helpful too. So let's get to the run portion. Dave, you had put in a few miles. How many did you do? 30, 40 miles? Or?
25.
25
yeah,
miles.
25
Did them in an amazing, awesome time. You really helped Autumn get back on track and get back in the black there, if you will, for their team. But then you were getting ready for the run portion, and you still had a little marathon to run.
Right.
What was that like?
It was good. I was excited to get on that run course. I think one of the harder things actually is to put the time in on the bike, and then sit in the vehicle for a little bit and wait versus coming right off that bike. I mean, sometimes some people tend to run a little faster than they need to, but they're moving around, and so sitting there did have a little bit of a worry to me, like I needed to keep moving, but yet I'm 20 miles from back where we need to go, so there's no option but to ride that vehicle. But we got stuck in a little bit of traffic coming back. I was pretty much right on as far as where I thought Cliff would be as far as coming in, and that tailwind really took most of the athletes back in pretty quickly, and by the time I was ready, Cliff was back in the transition within 5 minutes, and I was anxious to get out there. And the one thing I said that I kept remembering is to switch that bracelet every time, and I forget it then. Here's Brian up on the balcony yelling down to us, "You need the bracelet. You have to have the chip on it." So that was it was fun. Got a little anxiety shook off, kind of broke that moment, and I had a plan to just keep moving and to walk every hill, because there are a few hills on the and longer inclines on the run course. And and knowing that course, just how hard it was without without BJ there with me, was just knowing what I needed to prepare for. But the run course, the spectators just start getting more and more out there, and it's pretty awesome. A lot of high fives for BJ, especially when we're on like State Street and more populated areas. We also had a lot of runners that wanted to be with us on the second loop because I had BJ's chair so well lit up. We had glow necklaces on all the spokes. We had headlamps up on the bars of on the race chair, and there's a real dark area of the run course on the trail that it's not very well lit if there's any lighting at all. And I remember from last year of just being able to do a light jog because you couldn't really see where you were going, and a lot of people run into that. So they were all they wanted to run with us, so they were kind of giving us a, you're running too fast. We want to stay with the light right now. But we moved pretty well. I think we did a good time considering we had to stop and decorate the chair and got to watch the extra point with the Packers in a college frat house front yard that the game was playing. So yeah, it was a good, energetic, fun run.
What was the most fun part, BJ? The Bears. The Bears losing was the most fun part of the race. Don't laugh, Ian. Don't laugh.
I'm going to
Cam Brando.
and go to
State Street.
that was awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, so Cam Brando, State Street, BJ's favorite parts. He definitely got excited doing all the high fives on State Street, and Cam Brando was just a whole nother experience for him. Looking forward to it, and he loved that we got to go through it twice.
Let's talk about the finish. The big finish.
So, obviously, Dave was pushing the race chair for the marathon. Well, we like to bring the whole team back together to go across the finish line. And Cliff was hanging out with us. We kind of knew where he was, and then we were like, all right, we knew we would find Brian back by the finish at a certain point. I remember seeing Brian, and Brian had probably taken a shower. Brian got into, basically his jeans, what he's got on now. And one of us said to Brian, hey, do you got like, an angel shirt or something that you can put on? And, so you kind of look like you're part of this team. And I don't know, was it, who said, someone, oh, Cliff, did you say it? Like someone said, well,
No, it was Kelly or Carla.
oh, well, somehow Brian came back out with his wetsuit on. His wetsuit that he swam in the lake with. So Brian put his wetsuit on, probably his wetsuit, which is not fun, and his sandals, and his swim cap, and his goggles with a little hat on top. I don't want to know what you had under the wetsuit, but that was one of the coolest things, is to see that.
I got some funny looks in the elevator.
Some funny looks in the elevator. Yeah. What is this guy? So the team meets with about 100 yards to go. They run a little further down or walk a little further down, and then BJ gets out of the chair and then walks the remainder of the distance across the finish line. BJ, man, that had to have been great. Seeing those spectators, hearing their cheering. I mean, can you talk a little bit about what was going through your head when you were walking through that finish line? Other than, what the heck is this guy doing wearing a wetsuit next to me?
It just exciting.
Excitement?
Yeah. And
And what? Encouragement from your team?
Yep.
Yep. That's great.
Cliff almost fell.
Cliff almost fell.
Almost fell.
But you did. You made it.
But always doesn't show. All it has to and needs.
Yeah, almost.
Yeah. Well, I remember crossing that finish line. You were first team to cross, and Mike Riley, called out your name and said, "You are an Ironman." And guys, how did that feel? I mean, you guys, I imagine, I know that when I've done it, like you think about the weeks and the months that you've prepared for this, and the day itself, and everything that's gone into it. You reflect back on that, and just like, I can't believe we're already here at this finish line, and there's so many memories that go through your head. So, Cliff, how did you feel, man? Let's start with you.
It was a surreal feeling, and you talked about Brian and Dave having only 8 weeks to train. Well, BJ only had 8 weeks to train as well. I think the longest BJ had ever been in the chair was probably 3 hours and a crack, maybe. So for BJ to be in a chair for almost 12, 13, something like that, 15. So as we were crossing that finish line and reminding him one step at a time, but you're almost there, we got it. It was something that the look on his face was definitely one of pain. I think BJ said, I can't feel my feet, right? My ankles. But he still did it. He still walked, and watching him as we crossed under that clock, and Mike Bradley telling BJ it was an Ironman, something that I don't think I'll ever forget.
Towards the end of the run course in that second loop, BJ really wanted to watch that back game. He's like, we're gonna make it time for back game. I'm like, let's shoot for the fourth quarter. We're not gonna get done that quick. But when we did approach the carpet to get BJ ready to walk the carpet down that finish chute, let me tell you, I was pretty amazed that it was not 10 o'clock yet. And there's just so much emotion there. It's so loud, and the lights are there, and BJ making it down the chute, and all three of us, all the angels were there together, making that last stride together. It was amazing. You can't even describe the emotions and the feelings that chute brings on any level whatsoever. And I'd do it all over again.
Just the day goes by so quickly, and then you finally get to the final, how far you walk, 50 yards or something, and all these lights shining at you, and there's all these people cheering, and it's just kind of the final taking a bow at all the work that you did, all day, the final celebration, and to walk with BJ and these guys across the finish line is just fantastic, and I don't think any of us will forget it.
Or the stash. What I love is, some of the photos and videos that we posted of the team crossing the finish line. No one ever said, "What is the guy doing with his wetsuit on, crossing the finish line?" No one ever said anything. And that speaks really to the power of the team and really focusing on BJ, which I thought was amazing. So, Dave, did you have?
Yeah, that wetsuit. So after we had crossed the finish line, got our pictures, we went to the food tent, and a couple of people were questioning Brian's wetsuit, and I said, hey, he was really, really worried about his transition time. He wanted to make sure he made the cutoff, so he just never changed out of his wetsuit for the whole race. He's like, the looks he was getting, like, yeah, he was liking with that thing on. He was running, because they hadn't realized that Brian was part of the team at the time, because we were just in there getting food. So, yeah, it was, even when I came around that corner and I saw Brian with that wetsuit on, I was just laughing inside. It was good. It was a fun experience.
Yeah. So, did you fall asleep?
Did BJ fall asleep? Oh yeah, lots of times, right, BJ?
Yep.
Until we had a bike accident.
Yeah. I think Matt's got the.
Yeah, the bike is here. Well, the reference on the bike is here. So I've had this bike, I don't know, for 12, 13 years. It's been a great bike to me, but unfortunately, it is no longer going to function because at about mile 57 of the Ironman race, BJ and I had just gotten done going through the special needs area. Oops. Wow. Just like that, exactly, that's what happened. And just as we started to climb a hill and got done with the hill, and we're getting ready to go down the descent, my back wheel seized up and like locked up. Like somebody had just squeezed on the brakes, nothing was happening. I couldn't pedal. I had to try and get out of my shoes real quick. And I looked down after I get off, and here I had a water bottle holder underneath my seat that got lodged into the wheel. And as it lodged itself into the wheel, it forced the whole entire back wheel to kind of stop. So, we're at mile 57. I hadn't seen anybody in, I don't know, 15 miles. So I just took the water bottle holder and threw it out in the cornfield a little upset, like, is this going to stop us? Are we done now? Lifted the back wheel up and I just kind of spun it. And the wheel was fine, it was straight, none of the spokes were out, everything was still there. And so we took off and we rode. And we rode another 55 miles, all the way back to transition, not thinking anything was wrong. And I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday when I met back up with Christian at the office as we pulled the bike out of the van. He looked at me and said, did you see this on your bike? And lo and behold, the back fork is pretty much cracked right through. Like, through. It's a carbon fiber fork and it's cracked almost in half. I have no idea how we did not crash or fall or anything crumble that second half of the race, but we finished the second half of the race on a broken bike.
Last question for each of you guys, and then pull onto the mic. What is there something that is like your major takeaway, big learning, something you'll never forget from the race? What might that be?
I think the big takeaway, definitely for me, is just that anything is possible if you put your mind to it. You're only confined to your own limits. That wheel or that bike is definitely proof that a little bit of faith in God and knowing that He's got your back through it all will help. And it's just overcoming those obstacles and challenges along the way. That if you put your mind to it, you can do anything.
For me, it was everything from the training to even when we weren't physically running, swimming, or biking, the group chats we had from each other to make sure everybody was okay, how we're feeling throughout, making sure BJ's been okay, how each event, how each training was, what we could make better, what we could make things more comfortable, what we needed to improve on. When it came to race day, I mean, the training that all four of us had showed that it paid off. I mean, we did so well, and we had such a great team bonding experience. I mean, that in the alone, I think was my biggest takeaway. Cross the finish line.
Crossing the finish line for BJ. For me, it's just it's greater than the individual, and that when we all came together, we were capable of things much greater than we could have done on our own. And the fruits of our labor were
produced greater yield as a team than anything we could have done on our own. So the team is greater than the individual.
Let's give a round of applause for these guys.
All right, so we have something for each of you guys just to remember the day. It's just a little canvas print that has the finish line shot there for you. Hang this up in your office or home, and there he is, the guy in the wetsuits, in case you want to see what that looks like. Once again, guys, thank you so much for all of your support as fans, as donors. Thank you to the Angels, thank you to BJ, thank you to Rob and Tammy, thank you to our crew, all of your support, and just really helping this team get across that finish line and become an Ironman. So, one more round of applause, and then thank you guys for coming on. Now it's time to help the kids go to sleep, right? It sounds like we got a few antsy kids here today, including you, Ian. All right, guys, thanks so much. Have an awesome night.
Thanks for tuning in.